All right, guys. It's the kid. It's the kid. It's the kid. It's the kid, man. So look, man, we're just riding here for a nice little weekend live things to see you here on a Friday evening to see you beautifully into the weekend. It's quite late tonight, the one that we're doing, but I just felt that based on the kinds of matches that are happening, um, I wanted to, give you guys um, something, to look at for the weekend. Again, I put out my Liverpool thingy out there, man. I know, of course, with Salah scoring because there's lots of things that I want to discuss, and obviously that's why I wanted to do a live here because I think Salah is something I want to discuss. Van Dijk is something again that I want to discuss also as well, and we're gonna preview even further the Bayern Dortmund game. Look at how crucial that could potentially be coming in here, and also Barcelona, Atletico, my Madrid as well. But obviously, by the time guys watch this, I still want us to be remaining relevant. So rather than just really focusing, on the game in particular, I'm just going to be talking about things in a much more larger context. So that's what we're going to be doing here. But I think first of all, look, man, we have to now ride with Salah and him scoring and him ending his goal drought and how big and of a goal that was for him. But the thing about it is that what we have to tell the truth here, and I think people online, people in the footballing world, the Twitterverse, the Facebookverse, the Instagramverse, they are very reactionary. They're very reactionary. I think a lot of people wanted me to come out and be like, all right, that's it. I'm wrong. I'm this, I'm that. Salah's the best. I'm going to lose and everything. And just look at him scoring the goal to say, all right, he had a great game. He was quality. I think when you look at the totality of everything, we cannot take away the quality of the goal that guy scored. He did score a quality goal. And that cannot be understated. But as much as that was a quality goal, we have to also look at the performance that he had in the game. He was crap in the game. Not Mane was crap as well. He got better in the second half. Firmino was crap as well. But I just think that scoring that goal, I just think for his confidence level, I think was hugely important. Because if he had missed that chance, and he messed it up, especially him being like, one-on-one and everything, he would have been vilified. And because I think the key thing is what does he do after scoring that goal? Because if in the next game he doesn't play well and he doesn't score again, then the significance of this goal will not mean anything. I think the key thing to really signify him coming out of the goal drought is if in the next game he scores and the game afterwards he scores. And I think if he keeps on doing that, then that's where things are going to be looking good. I will address that. Don't worry, I will address that. I know the news has come. I will address that because I think that is obviously the major news that I got sent while I was on Twitter. So I will address the sad news. But yeah, but for Salah, like, it doesn't really change my view on him. And I would be extremely obtuse. I don't know whether obtuse is the word. I'll be extremely obtuse and pretty weak as a footballing analyst if it was a case of like, oh my gosh, he scored that goal last minute, therefore everything that I've said about Salah is completely wrong. Therefore, I'm the biggest fool. I'm the biggest loser. Everything that I said was completely wrong. Like, no, there is still truth. It was a great goal. It wasn't a quality goal and it wasn't an important goal because what I liked about it was he did have the balls to take that chance. And that is the role that he needs to play because what Mane has been doing up to this game is what Salah shouldn't be doing. It's what Aguero does, what Harry Kane does to a degree where when your team needs you, you strike. When your team needs you, you strike. So, but just to clear it up, I have no beef with Salah. I have no beef with him. everything I say is objective. I never know why people, um, whenever I criticize a certain player, they think it's an agenda against me. It's never personal. It's always business. That is the mantra that I always speak. It's never personal. It's always business. And with Salah, don't believe that he's the best player in Africa currently. I believe that is false. He's one of the best players. He isn't the best player. And if we look at that game, apart from the quality goal that he scored, he didn't have a great game. He got dispossessed many times, didn't have that many shots on target, didn't have that many openings, didn't really dribble those many guys. So if we're going to be honest here, he didn't have a great game. But he had a great moment and a critical moment, and that is still great. But is that enough for me to now say, okay, he's not a better player than Mane? So does that negate all the things that Mane has done? And this isn't a whole Salah Mane thing. I just feel that there is an issue with people idolizing certain players. And once you idolize a certain player, you can't look at anything beyond that. Everything for you is about, oh my gosh, that player is good. So everything that player does good is amazing. And you cannot look at anything alternatively, which I just think there's no point in doing that. So look, well done for Salah. Huge, massive, great. And I still, this doesn't change the Premier League title race. It just makes things interesting. And maybe it just delays the inevitable. And I think, as I said on my post-match, next week is going to be huge. It could be pivotal because you've got Crystal Palace at home to Man City, and you have Liverpool at home to Chelsea. If you take a step back, City have the harder game because they're away from home against their bogey team, and Liverpool have the easier game. We know what Zad can do. We know what Zad has done against Liverpool, especially twice. But Liverpool at home against a team where they don't even know what their strongest starting lineup is, I'm going with the guys who actually have a clue with regards to what is happening, man. So moving on, I just want to just talk briefly about Bayern Dortmund. Huge game, massive game, and it's a game in which I implore everybody has got to watch the game. Everybody has to go to watch the game because it's such a massive game. It's such a huge game, and I really believe that Bayern Munich are going to win it, based on the fact of I look at that lineup, man. When you just look at that lineup, I just see Bayern winning that game. I think when all is said and done, when we come back here, see if Bayern don't beat Dortmund, who have most of the injuries, should the coach still be blamed? Because it's almost as if, let's say Bayern don't beat Dortmund, the only person that will be blamed is Kovac. What about Lewandowski, who I believe is a brick? What about Coman, who is a semi-brick? What about Javi Martinez, who is far too old? What about Hummels, who is far too old as well? What about Rafinha, who is a Class A brick? Doesn't matter how good of a manager you are. If you're managing bricks, there's only so much you can do. So I'm still sticking with Bayern 2-1. Right, guys, I will look at your comments briefly. Barcelona against Atletico Madrid. Guys, let's be real. Let's be real here. So let me guess. Atletico Madrid are going to do anything against Barcelona. Barcelona have pretty much pimp-slapped Atletico Madrid at every single chance that they've had. They pimp-slap them. That's just what they do. Atletico Madrid get pimp-slapped by Barcelona. So at home, I'm looking at like a Barcelona I'm saying like 4-2. 4-2 or 3-1 to Barcelona. I just think it's going to be pretty much simple for them. So let's just get on to some of the news that has been happening. So, first up. Zad. How much should Marca be believed? So Marca apparently is reporting that an agreement is close between Zad and Real Madrid. Now, the reason why I'm not sure whether there's that much truth to this is, correct me if I'm wrong, Chelsea still have a transfer ban. So if you still have a transfer ban, how are you in a position where you now believe that you can make any sales? It doesn't mean anything. Like Zad, like for me, like see, this was a very complicated kind of subject that I said to someone. Like, let's just say that Chelsea have this transfer ban. Okay, boom. You can't buy any players in the summer. You can't buy any players in January. So the logic would be, all right, you've got to sell Zad, and you've got to sell him for 170. Another thinking is that, you know what, screw it, take the L. And I think this is a point that my Talking Tactics partner, Danny T, said. Take the L, keep him for one more year. Hopefully he can help you gain top four or do something even better or even stronger. He lets go off a free, but maybe he helped you win a trophy or to solidify top four for next season, because it's going to be very hard to find a player like that. That was his thinking. But I think the natural thinking is, if you have a transfer ban and you know that Zad is not going to sign a contract extension, I said 170. 170, 177, 775, or 180, 185, 185, 185. Take it to the 185. Push me even further, I'll say 195. I think 185 is a great deal. Is a great 185 is a beautiful deal. Someone you're mad now. No, maximum 250. Maximum two. If it was a max 250. So I'm saying a nice, and that's a good thing. So I'm coming down from 250 to 180, and I think that'd be great. But as I've always said, I believe that he is going to go this summer. I don't know a scenario in which he, I don't know a scenario in which he stays at Chelsea. I don't have a scenario in which he signs a contract extension. And let me be real with you. Some Chelsea fans may not agree with this. If Zad leaves Chelsea, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. With regards to relevancy and in trying to win titles, it's a wrap. It is pretty much impossible for Chelsea to find another player like a Zad, because that's the kind of player that you build around. And I do believe that even if Zad goes to Real Madrid, it doesn't mean that if he's good enough suddenly make Real Madrid amazing. But Zad going to Real Madrid, that is the start of something big. And that leads us to Labille, aka Pogba. I believe Pogba wants to go to Madrid. 100%. He's French. It's Real Madrid. Zidane is the manager. 1000% he wants to go to Real Madrid. But the issue is this. United do need him. And United are not going to be willing to sell him. And like, I think we now have to talk about what kind of fee that we're talking about here, because for United, he is perhaps their most important player. You know, whether you like it or not, he is one of United's most important players. So he's not a guy that they would want him to lose. Remember, guys, I mean, I will try and look at some of your comments, but if you want your comments fully read right away, straight away, use the super chats. Use the super chats, and I will read your comments straight away, give you a shout out. If not, I will just try and look through the comments and just see. I'll just pick out a random comment and just see what you guys are saying. I love Hudson-Odoi, but saying Hudson-Odoi is better than Zad. I mean, what is that? Unless you're saying that to get a reaction out of me, I have no idea. I mean, no, he's not. And I love Hudson-Odoi, but the guy's just a kid on the block. You're talking about a World Cup third place finish dude, man. Who defeated Neymar 1-1 in that game. So I mean, guys, show some respect. Labille, I don't know. So, to be honest with you, I am 50-50 with regards to whether Labille stays at United or whether he leaves for Real Madrid because I think that both things can happen. Because on one hand, United will be crazy to want to lose Labille, and they will say to the sense that no, he's not for sale, and there's no way in which that we want to sell him. At the same time, the only reason Zidane came to Real Madrid is he wants to rebuild and he needs players. And you've already heard about the fact that Toni Kroos may be leaving um, this summer. So Zidane is maybe trying to think of a midfield of Labille and Modric. So Modric, remember what we've always been saying, um, homeboys need a controller. So Modric is the controller, and Pogba is the guy who now freely roams, which is what Pogba has always needed. He just needed that guy who sets the tone, sets the tempo, and just gets things moving in that midfield area. So I see. I mean, that is a strong possibility because one of the prime targets, and one of the prime areas that I think that Zidane wants is a fresher, younger midfielder to redefine the way that Real Madrid play. Because Modric is just getting on. Because an argument can also be made that Modric needs to be replaced. Because he's getting old. Not like he's being a worse player or anything, but he's getting old. I don't see it happening. That's just me being real. I honestly don't see Pogba leaving Real Madrid. So I don't see Pogba leaving United this summer. I just don't think that they will keep hold of him. Now, if I am Pogba and I am Labille, United are still regarded as a big club. If you have the possibility, and this is the key thing here, kids, if he has the possibility to join Real Madrid, that's a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer. Like you have to join them. That is a chance of a lifetime to actually play alongside with your thingy, Paul Pogba. So this is an interesting one. So Pogba, better for Madrid or Kante? So who's better for Real Madrid, Kante or Paul Pogba? I would I would say Kante. I would say Kante. For me, I believe that Kante, you could argue that he's perhaps one of the most valuable players um, in the world now. Because if Kante goes to Real Madrid, he will help you defensively. He will help you keep the ball. He will help you in an offensive sense. And he just does so much all around. He covers many bases. Because Pogba doesn't have the defensive reading of the game or the defensive qualities that your boy Kante has. And I don't think Pogba has the consistency within 90 minutes or within stretches of games that Kante has. Kante is just very consistent in what he does. So you pretty much can be assured of what you're getting from Kante. And I think in any team, forget Real Madrid, in any team, that is a great asset to have. That is a superb, amazing asset to have that consistency and that consistent dude within you. So yeah, so I mean, like but the issue about this is that you see, if I was calling the shots and if it was Zidane, I would go for Kante between Pogba. I think Kante would be more effective, and I think that you would receive more goodness and more value. That's the key word. I think you would have more value in getting Kante. But I just think that Pogba is the bigger name. He's more interesting because remember, Real Madrid are all about the marketing as well. You'll sell more shirts. It's better marketing, and that is the kind of marquee signing that I think Real Madrid are looking for. With what your boy Labille Pogba brings, man. Oh, Yeah, 2011 to 2014. Yeah, man, I was just having some job stuff, just some job life issues. So that's why I wasn't really posting that much. I think only within the last year or so, I sort of settled a bit more within my job and everything, which is cool. Um, let's see what else all you guys are saying, man. Juve or Liverpool? In terms of what? In terms of a Well, if you're saying that in terms of who is better, okay, Juve or Liverpool, okay, if let's just say they were to have a match, both at full strength, hmm, that's a tough one because they're both almost very similar in the styles that they have. I think Juve's the defense would be able to somewhat cope with what Liverpool bring, and I would like to see how well Van Dijk deals with Cristiano and Mandzukic, like their aerial ability, their presence, and just their attributes as strikers. Because I don't think a Mandzukic or everything is in there, so it'll be very tough. For me, I mean, if in a one-off game, both at full strength, I think Juve edge it. I think Juve edges like 2-1. Because I just think Cristiano would be the difference maker somehow. So I just think they would edge it briefly 2-1 if it was between the two and both of them there. Um, but yeah, I don't want to just briefly touch on this whole Van Dyke thing. Remember, guys, man. I mean, if there's a question you desperately want to get put out there and a shout out, just use the super chat and I will answer it immediately right away. If not, I will just take my time to try and pick out a few comments from the comment box. Now, this was an issue I was having in here with Van Dijk, because again, obviously, we had a little thing on Hope Meets Banter, and we're just talking about, you know, um, Liverpool and so forth. And with regards to Van Dijk, I think about Van Dijk is this: earn your stripes, earn your stripes. What I don't like is after a year or so, people start putting people who just come on the block up against the greats of the game. I don't like that. Doesn't make any sense. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. Like for me, Van Dijk hasn't earned the right to be mentioned in the same breath as Nesta or Cannavaro. No, that can't be allowed. He's not. Yo, thank you, Fortune, for the Supermans. Congratulations, yeah, man. You're gonna be seeing a lot of Supermals very soon. Thank you, Fortune, bro. Um, he's not earned the rights to be mentioned in the same breath as those people. That's just nah. That's just wrong. Um, but the thing about it is, one thing that I think it was Drifty who said this. That Van Dyke, ability wise, I think he believes that Van Dijk ability wise, forget about longevity, ability wise is the same, if not better than Rio at his peak. And this is Rio Ferdinand. And I just think that is crazy. And I think what is happening is fans need to stop overrating their players. Because I just think it's very dangerous. You can love your team, you can even have jokes about really overselling your players and everything. But there comes a time when you have to be somewhat objective. Um, if you're being objective, of course, it's a right down. When you say Van Dijk is one of the best defenders out there, but you cannot put because again, this is what I said on Twitter. If I'm going through a season, I'm taking Van Dijk over Ramos because Van Dijk is much more consistent. If it's a winner takes all, this is a game that's where everything is riding on the line. Personally, for me, I'm going to have to ride with a Ramos because I know Ramos just has a greater winning mentality, you know, and I just think that his winning mentality is very key. Is very key. So you have like no player is perfect. I think what Liverpool fans have to sort of try and accept is sometimes you have to just be objective when you're looking at the players. And now I'm not looking at the comments, and people are sort of saying that it's similar to what I say about Zad. Um, I don't overrate Zad. And what I've always said about Hazard is this: you cannot name me 5 players who are better than Hazard ability wise. You can't do it. Because if you try, you're telling a lie. Based on individual ability in the world, just ability as a football player, you can name me 5 players better than Hazard. Now, if we're talking about effectiveness, then yeah, maybe he is top 5, because I can name you 5, 6, 7 players more effective as of right now than Hazard. But whenever I say Hazard top 5, top 4, top 3, it's his ability as an individual. And the thing that people always miss, which is what I always try and argue, is Hazard is playing with an average team that has a lot of bricks. So that's a degree of difficulty. Messi doesn't play with bricks. Neymar doesn't play with... Neymar plays with losers and chumps, but doesn't play with bricks. Name any top player. They don't play with bricks. Hazard is the only guy that plays with a team that has average players, young players up and coming, or just straight up bricks. So that means that there is nobody that he can lean on. So when guys say, oh no, you just have to do it and make it happen. Cristiano played for Real Madrid, Man United, and Juventus, who all had quality great players around them. You know, Messi has been at Barcelona like his whole career, and it's Barcelona who attract the best of the best because it's Barcelona. Like, and this is why, as much as it would harm Chelsea and it would be disaster for Chelsea, just to prove my point, this is why I would like Hazard to be at Real Madrid, because if Hazard is at Real Madrid and surrounded by top players, you will see a fantastic player. You just will. I am convinced you will see a fantastic player. You know? Because I just think we have been robbed of one of the truly great players in the world because of his insistency of remaining at Chelsea. You know? Let me just... so we got a super chat here, man. Dale. Oops. So let me just sort out this super chat. So from Mukhtar Abdi, thank you very much for the super chats. From Mukhtar Abdi, who's your favorite ESPN FC pundit or any pundit? Actually, I'm going to answer that in 2 parts. My favorite ESPN FC pundit is it's Shaka Hislop, but I'm beginning to really like Craig Burley. I'm beginning to really like Craig Burley. At the start, I wasn't a big Craig Burley fan, but as I've been going in, I'm like, you know what? Shaka Hislop is still my best, but I think Craig Burley is very much going off because I just like how raw he is. But most just my favorite pundits in total has to be Stephen A. Smith, 100%. I mean, like the way that Stephen A. Smith breaks down things, and the way that he just breaks down games. So the way he just breaks down the basketball games, and just the sports, the players, and so forth, I just think it's beautiful. So just because obviously he may crack jokes and everything, but just the way he analyzes the game is flipping amazing. So he's definitely been a model that I've tried to sort of like model my thing on, man. Yeah, as I said, look, CVV is one of the most complete centre backs. Van Dijk, his quality. I said Van Dijk is a quality player. 100%. He's a quality player, and I've never denied that. But my thing about it is that he isn't perfect. I don't think that he's as tough as Sergio Ramos. I don't think he's as mobile as Sergio Ramos. I don't think that he can get across the pitch quickly in different stages as quickly as Sergio Ramos can. Because like Ramos, see, thing about Ramos is when Ramos is bad, he can be really bad. He'll get red carded, he'll get out of position, just go crazy. When Ramos is at his best, he's the best centre back in the world. You know, just that Van Dijk is more consistent, but Ramos at his best and Van Dijk at his best, I'm taking Ramos at his best. Because Ramos at his best, nothing is getting past him. Not only nothing is getting past him, he will probably come up and score the winning goal for you. That's what Ramos is. And I think, this is what I say, if I'm in a final, I want a winner. I want a guy who will do anything to win. And I want a guy who is tenacious, which is why I would roll with a Van Dijk. You know, I would roll with a Van Dijk if it was me. Sorry, I would roll with a Ramos if I was going through into a final. Azpilicueta is not really that relevant right now. He's solid. Azpilicueta is solid, but again, there's only so much you can get from Homeboy. You know, he ain't really the most dynamic of players, but he is solid though. So another super chat here from the Rebecca Black. Rebecca Black, that rings a bell. Did she sing a song? Barca v Liverpool, who would win? Thanks for the vids. So from Rebecca Black, thank you very much for the super chats. Barca v Liverpool, who would win? Both at full strength, Barcelona. In a one-off game, Barcelona. See, over 2 legs, interesting. Maybe Barca still win, but in a one-off game, at full strength. Because the thing about this is that Liverpool's defense has been quality. It's been great. They have never faced anybody of the quality of, even close to the quality of Messi, or the Us, or maybe the Cannibal. Maybe Aguero is there. Nobody in the Premier League is even close to the ability of the Us. No one. Nobody is sniffing what Messi is about. And just for me, that's why I cannot wait for this Champions League to come. Which is why I'm hoping that Liverpool take care of business and Barcelona take care of business. I still believe that a shock is going to happen. Something tells me that United are going to do something. I know it was shocking, but something just tells me that I think United could do something. But putting that to one side, I hope that they both take care of business, because like I want to see Van Dijk against the very best. That's what I want. I want to see Van Dijk against Messi and the Us, because those are two of the most dangerous attackers on the planet. The only truly world-class attacking player, striker kind of guy in the Premier League, well, Aguero and Zad. See, Zad and Aguero are the only truly world-class attacking players in the Premier League, and that's it. And even Aguero and Zad in the Us and Messi. And Cannibal on his day, that's a whole different beast. That's a whole different beast. So, to answer your question, one-off game, both teams are at full strength, Barcelona win. I ain't betting against Messi. In a one-off game, I'm not betting against. See, Messi, Argentina, that's different. Messi, Barcelona, one-off game, nah. Like, I don't believe that. Yeah, I don't believe that there is a team that could beat Barcelona in a one-off game. At full strength, nah. In a one-off game, no. There isn't a team that could do it. There isn't a team. So which is why that's an issue. Like, see, I don't believe that Barcelona make the final. But if Barcelona make the final of the Champions League, they are beating Juventus, they're beating Man City. Because it'll either be either Juve or Man City that they face in the final, and they are beating both of those guys for sure, man. Mane isn't better than the Us. You're talking crap, or you're sniffing glue. And I'm a huge Mane fan. See, you know what I want to know is that you guys who support Premier League clubs, do you watch any football beyond the Premier League? That's a very important thing, because you can't make statements if you don't watch any football out of the Premier League. So for you to say, okay, Mane is better than the Us, how many games of Barcelona do you watch? because I try and set times to watch a lot of La Liga, sometimes Serie A, sometimes Bundesliga, sometimes Premier League, because I come at this whole thing with a worldview. And I think that you are cheating yourself as a football fan, because I feel that we're all football fans before we are club fans. You being a club fan is completely moronic. You've got to be a football fan first. And if you're a football fan, your club takes priority. But try and make time, either watch highlights or try and make time if your club isn't playing to watch football from other clubs. You can't just make your judgments based on the Premier League. I keep telling you people this. The Premier League is the best marketed product. The Premier League does not have the best quality football. It's the most exciting, it's the most thinking product, but basically you don't go to the Premier League to improve as a player. Unless you play for Man City or so forth, you don't improve technically as a player. If you want to improve technically as a player, you go to La Liga. La Liga is where you improve technically as a player. Like Serie A gives you like tactical discipline. Bundesliga is just a great place for young players to really grow, because young players are given more chances there. But I have to reiterate this. The Premier League is just the best product in terms of entertainment, competitiveness, and so forth. But if you're going to open your mouth and tell me that from top to bottom, that the Premier League is as good as La Liga, you're having a laugh. Yeah, you're having a laugh, you know? So Mane isn't better than the Us. You saying that makes no flipping sense, you know? It makes no flipping sense. You saying that he's better than the Us, you know? All right. What is it? Sorry, let's go. Okay. You see, even if so for people, like, even if you're a fan of a club, that is no excuse for you not to watch other football things. So let me just get this straight. So if, let's say, you're a fan of Barcelona, Real Madrid, or Liverpool, are you telling me that those are the only games that you watch? You don't watch any other games apart from the games involving your club? You watch no highlights of games from other games, or nothing at all? I just want to be sure here, you know. So, because I just find that very awesome, and also it is actually huge news for the Us coming back from injury, because he's going to be crucial. He's going to be essential, and I've said this many times. Messi is like, Barcelona shouldn't even operate or even breathe without Messi. Barcelona can't win this treble without the Us. Like, the Us is critical for Barcelona trying to win this treble. You know, because they're going for something pretty much almost unprecedented, because these guys are going for a treble of trebles, which is mad. Will they get it, bro? It's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be tough. But yeah, man. But look, man. I think we are. I mean, this is pretty much the definitive month. April is the definitive month, and I think in the next 3 weeks, I think we'll be getting a clearer picture as to the team most likely to win the Premier League and the Bundesliga. But I think what would be really exciting is if this gets taken to the last day of the season. You know, again, the most dramatic last day of the season of all time was what's it called? Was Man City. Like, nothing's ever beaten that. I remember there was one in Serie A. I can't remember who. I think it definitely involved Juventus, where the game was delayed. They had to play for a long time, and it came back. So, but I think it would be really great if in the Premier League, Liverpool, Man City, it's like City are still like a point ahead, and it's the final day of the season, because then it's like whoever they play, especially whoever Man City play, there's just that added pressure of like, now this is like a final for you now. If you screw up and the other team plays well, boom, you're screwed. And I think what would be great for the Bundesliga as well, because it's been an amazing Bundesliga season. Dortmund should have been out of sight. Let's just be real. Dortmund should have been out of sight way before. But look, it's Dortmund. They have to do things the hard way. If Dortmund and Bayern can take this to the last day of the season, I think that in itself is going to be fun. And this is what I even say to people, because I think I can see people discussing the whole thing of other teams that you watch. You have to watch Dortmund. They are one of the most exciting teams to watch because they are so mad. And I just think that their philosophy is so offensive, so positive, so attacking, so much about moving forward that you have to watch them. Like they are a must watch. They're box office. They're a team that you simply must watch. I would as well like, yeah, look, man, educate yourself, man. Educate yourself. And I think it's even a life trait. If you focus on something that is very narrow-minded and that is all that you see, you're not going to grow and you'll not be able to educate yourself. Because it's almost like why people say traveling is so important. Because when you travel, you learn about different cultures, and actually traveling actually improves you as a human being. If you stayed within the same country or on the same town for the whole of your life, you don't improve. You don't learn new things. The only way you learn new things is by going to new environments. The only way you learn new things is you have to go to new environments. So that's why I always implore guys to try and just watch other leagues, because the impression I get, maybe not from you guys, but the impression I get, especially online and when I discuss people, is they don't really watch that many leagues beyond the league that they watch. And I think there's definitely a Premier League bias. And I think that the Premier League bias, it does make sense because it is the most popular league, it is the most watched league, and it is the best promoted and marketed. So because of that, people are like, why the hell do I need to watch anything beyond this? But I think you should. I think you definitely should, man. Let's see. What are you guys saying? What are you guys saying, man? So rather watch Everton v Wolves than Barca Valencia. Um, I mean, I sort of get where you're coming from in the sense of, you see, Everton Wolves, because it will be a much closer game, so therefore it will be much more exciting. And I think and you could view it in that sense, but in another sense, even if it is more, because Everton Wolves, either team could win, so that makes it exciting there. But an argument for Barcelona Valencia is, even if there is a 80% chance of Barcelona winning the game, you will simply see better football. And I believe Barcelona and Valencia played this season, and I think Valencia got a draw, and they could have won the game. And I think Valencia actually really had Barcelona in the ropes at the Camp Nou, because I remember watching that game. So that was for me. That was a close game. so that was a close game. So I've sort of negated your arguments there, man. Oh yeah, 1989. Oh yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, no, for me, look, man. As I said again, look, man. So Hangouts is going to be happening obviously this Sunday, and I think this Sunday, we're going to have a massive Champions League preview happening, because I think I'm just very interested to see how guys are going to view actually view these things, because I think as the closer we get to the Champions League thing, I just keep thinking in my mind is that what is a shock? Like, just the way that this Champions League has gone, the way the World Cup has gone, I don't believe that we're going to get Liverpool, Barca, one semi. Man City, Juventus, one semi. Like on paper, that is what should happen. Liverpool thing on one side, City, Juventus the other side. But again, but the issue is that I just don't believe that Ajax, FC Porto, Man United, or what's it called? Tottenham are gonna have enough to go through. Because I just think that those teams are vastly inferior. Like the closest game is Man City Tottenham. That's gonna be the closest game. The most lopsided game is definitely Liverpool FC Porto. Like that was definitely a lucky one for Liverpool. But there has to be a shock. There has to be a shock. Like I think that there definitely needs to be a shock, because that will just carry on with the elements of what is happening, man. But I just don't know what it's gonna be, you know. And the thing about it is that there's just so many narratives. Like Messi desperately wants to win it. Cristiano definitely wants to win it, especially this year. So, and not everyone. Or there can only be one winner. There's so many of these different narratives, and there can only be one flipping winner, man. But yeah, so just to end on but I just really needed people to really understand and get this. My Hazard thing is true. It comes from a place of truth, because I don't want people to have it misconstrued that, oh my gosh, this guy just sees Hazard, he only does good, and anything that Hazard does badly, he doesn't view it. You have to understand where I'm coming from. And that is what I said, and I will repeat myself. Ability-wise, you cannot name me 5 players who have more ability than Hazard. You can't do it. You cannot name me 5 players who have better ball control, better dribbling, better technique, better balance on the ball. So pretty much better offensive attributes than Hazard. You can't do it. You simply cannot do it. So that's the argument for him being top 5. And whenever I say top 5, like as a player, ability-wise, talent-wise, that's him. Like the guys who I would say are better than Hazard, ability-wise, in an offensive sense, Messi, Neymar. The Us is an argument, and I can't really think of any other player. I can't think of any other player. And what is telling though? What is telling is when they asked Messi, name, the top players in the world, not counting yourself and Cristiano. So he put Aguero there. He put the cannibal there. He had Hazard in there. Salah wasn't there. And I see that's the for me. Like I always say to people is this, and I always try and say this in the nicest way possible. But anybody telling me that Salah is better than Hazard, it's one of two things. And this is me being fully objective. If you think Salah is better than Hazard, either you're a hardcore Liverpool fan that is extremely biased, and you will always say that Liverpool players are better, and therefore I can't have an objective football conversation with you, or you just don't understand football. It's either one of those two. Either you're extremely biased and tribalistic, or you just don't understand football. Now, I think that Salah does better than Hazard 100%, but overall, as a football player, it's not even a conversation. There is no argument to be had. There's no debate to be had. Hazard is simply, technically speaking, a better player than Salah. And I think you've seen in recent games, you've seen Salah struggle. Because he doesn't have a right foot, he gets very easily dispossessed. But Hazard is a guy who constantly is a guy who is getting past his man, breaking the lines, and doing a lot of the heavy lifting, creating and playmaking for a Chelsea team that lacks a creator or a playmaker. But I just think the issue with Hazard is effectiveness. He just isn't consistently effective as far as the killer pass, the key goal, the key engineering play that leads to a structured penetrative play. Because there are times in which there are those games in which he just seems disinterested. So he doesn't have that mental grind of you've got to give 100% in every single game. You cannot slip up in every single game. I think that is his, because as I said, nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. Everybody has a hindrance, and Hazard's hindrance is his mentality. I don't think that he's got that big man mentality. I don't think he's got that big man, key thing, professional, superstar mentality. This is a perfect way. He's got superstar attributes. He doesn't have a superstar's mentality. So this guy has all the ability in the world, and he has the tools to be the best player in the world. But I think when you look at Messi, Neymar, the Us, Cristiano, Marco Verratti, put in Van Dijk, Sergio Ramos, they have a superstar's mentality. They've got a very matured professional mentality. And I think that Zad lacks that. Maybe it's a case of him being at Chelsea and being so ahead of being the best player, with the only one competing against him being Kante. Maybe that has detracted from him. And maybe being put in a team where you're not the best player. You're one of the best players, but you're not the best player. So not everything falls upon you. I think that will then perhaps force him to now say, no, I now have to work hard to be... Because literally, he doesn't have to work hard. He literally sleepwalks into the first team for Chelsea. He sleepwalks into the first team for Real Madrid. No, sleepwalks for the first team for Belgium. He doesn't have to try. So maybe if he has to try and struggle to get into the first team, it's going to be a bit much more... it will change his mentality more. So I just think that that's just what he needs. So again, not everyone is perfect, but I think anybody like giving me crap or saying I am biased by saying that Hazard, ability-wise, is top 5 in the world, you simply don't understand the game of football. You simply don't. And I always use the example of, like, if you're out in the park and you're just playing out in the park, Hazard is the player that will stand out to you 100% based on what he constantly does when he has the ball. So I've got a super chat here from Josh Bourne. I swear to God, if Hazard turns up, his name is Zad, by the way. I swear to God, if Zad turns up against us, I'm going to go mental. Josh Bourne, thank you very much for the super chat. Josh, as I said, this might it might be a 40 minutes preview. We might be doing a 40 minutes preview. That's a huge game. That is probably one of Liverpool's most difficult games is that game. And if Zad is fit, obviously, if Zad isn't fit, Liverpool will blitz Chelsea. If Zad is fit and Sarri does go with the lineup, which we all know what it is, it goes with the lineup. That's a tricky game for Liverpool, man. See, Liverpool are lucky because it's at Anfield, and they can feel like if that game was at Stamford Bridge at this stage of the season, that's where Liverpool should get really nervous. But I think Liverpool can hold and hope that it's at the crib. And they have an amazing record at the crib. But it would be that kind of game that Zad shows up and just does something. It would be that kind of game that he shows up and does something. So I think for Liverpool fans, and I think they know it, the Liverpool fans that I talk about, they know it. They know that game, that's the one that you need to really be worried about. That's the one game that you really need to be worried about. Like, again, I mean, it's still long away, so I'm not really thinking about this. But I think as the closer we come, it's going to be really hard for me to call that game. If everyone is fit, it's going to be hard for me to call that game. But I just think that Liverpool being at the crib does definitely help them. From Armchair Critic, I like this. Now, this Armchair Critic, man, is Verratti wasting his time at PSG? Armchair Critic, thank you very much for the super chat. Marco Verratti is the best central midfielder in the world, ability-wise. But I will understand why people will laugh at me when I say that. 100%. I 100% believe and accept people laughing at me and mocking me when I say that. Because what's the point in being the best central midfielder in the world and playing for PSG in Ligue 1, which is the most embarrassing excuse for a title challenge or a league. Verratti is 1000% wasting his time at PSG. Like, if I was his agent, I would say to him that you force a move this summer. You have to force a move this summer. How old is he? How old is Verratti, man? Verratti. I want to see how old this dude is. Verratti is 26. So he's going to be 27 this year. Homeboy, you still have time. You still have time. You still have time. If I was Verratti's agents, get the hell out of PSG. It's a total waste of time. Every season you're going to win the league by 50 points. And you're going to get bounced out in the Champions League before you even sniff the semi-finals. It's just a same recurring theme. So, because again, I think United have said something, Real have said something. See, now, if I'm Real Madrid now, because you know how somebody asked me, is it either Kante or Pogba? If I'm Real Madrid, I want Verratti. I want a midfield of Verratti and Modric, Marco, and Rich. Ooh. Sweet. Sweet as a piranha. Sweet as a flipping piranha. Those two, sweet. Too sweet. Too sweet. But yeah, it saddens me because this is such a he is such an amazing football player. Just on a footballing level. You know, his tackling, ball control, dribbling, balance on the ball, how he carries on the ball, his passing range, his footballing brain, decision making, how brave he is, how confident he is, how confident he is in his own box, how he always plays on the edge. He's just such, like, he's one of my favorite players. He's one of my favorite football players because every time I see him like that, this is such an amazing football player. But it doesn't mean anything if you're flipping PSG, which that club, they're a bunch of losers. The club are a bunch of flipping losers. So yeah, armchair critic, man. Yeah, man. He's wasting his time, and if I'm going to be real, he will be at PSG. This summer, he's not moving. Which I think is a stupid, idiotic move. Because he should leave, but yeah, I just think the reality of the matter is that he will remain there for the foreseeable future. But yeah, Marco, man, you'll only so if you're 30, 34 with 10, 11 League One titles and even if not sniffed a semi or a final in the Champions League, you only have yourself to blame, bro. Vinicius Junior and Mbappe, the future rivalry. You know what? I don't really think that we're gonna have a rivalry in the future. I just think that this whole, I've always said, I don't think there's a Messi Cristiano rivalry. There may be a rivalry in terms of goals. There isn't a rivalry in terms of ability. So that's a little tidbits. There's a rivalry in terms of goals. There's not a rivalry in terms of footballing ability. But there we go. But yeah, Vinicius Junior. But you say Vinicius Junior and Mbappe. What about Sancho? What about Hudson-Odoi? What about the Us? I keep on telling you people. I get it. Mbappe is the prodigy. The Us is a better football player than Mbappe. The Us is more talented, has more ability than Mbappe. Just that Mbappe is like a game winner for you. Put it this way. Mbappe is like Pele. The Us is like Maradona. Like Pele is like the greater guy that can win a game for you and do truly great things in the biggest of games based on his impact and his effectiveness. But Maradona is simply technically the better player. The Us is simply the better player. So when we're talking about the future footballers and the future stars, the Us is right in there, bro. Because the Us has been doing this since his Dortmund days, man. Says PSG won't sell to Madrid. I don't give a damn what PSG will or won't do. You're selling to Madrid. Sometimes right now, PSG, you haven't earned the right to keep these players. Like, you know what I think? There should be a punishment for PSG. There should be a punishment for PSG being exiting the Champions League in the way that they did. So what should happen? What should happen is, based on that crap that you pulled against Manchester United, people have free reign to buy whoever they want. So they should be forced to sell Mbappe to Real Madrid and Verratti as well, 100%. You know, they should be forced to. And look, as I said, look, man, if Mbappe, Verratti, you're listening, get out of PSG, man. Get out of PSG. It's ruining your career. I don't understand how it's helping your career. How much are you being paid? Is the money really that much? Is the money really that much? So come on, man. Let's get real, man. PSG can clinch the title this weekend, man. Oh Lord. Look, I mean, I'm gonna address this whole racial thing in a separate video. But what is telling, and this is actually a video that I'm going to do, is the whole Danny Rose thing. Because Danny Rose, obviously, he came out and he said that, what did he say? Homeboy said, yeah, he can't wait to retire from football because of the racial abuse that he's received and how nobody seems to really care. That's pretty sad. Pretty sad. And you know what? I 100% second it. You know, I fully 100% support him doing it because I told you, I love football in of itself and as priority. Football institutionally is racist. Institution is racist. So who's excited for Game of Thrones coming next week? Who's excited, man? Because look, as I said again with Game of Thrones, because you know what I'm going to do? I'll be doing an episode by episode breakdown. Yes. It's called the Half of Football Hot, but I still do movies and stuff. I don't give a damn. This is for football. I do whatever the hell I want. So we're gonna be so episode by episode. I'm gonna be doing an episode breakdown and the review at the end of after every episode drops. Because all I want in Game of Thrones, I just want to see those white. I support the White Walkers. I don't know about you. I want the White Walkers to win. Either Tyrion sits on the throne or I want the White Walkers to win. That blonde chick with those... forget that girl, man. All right? White Walkers, I want it to win. I want those dragons and those White Walkers to rule Westeros and run the whole thing. I want them to win. I don't care about Jon Snow. I don't care about Khaleesi or Lalisi. I care about the White flipping Walkers. I want them to win. That's just what I want. So I told you, like, because the writing and the acting has been a bit hammy. I'm looking forward to the battle scenes and just the CGI and the effects, because the battle scenes in Game of Thrones, the best battle scenes that we've ever seen. Easily. Like, they are hands down the best battle scenes that we've ever seen. And just briefly on Endgame, because I've just been watching a lot of Endgame trailers and teasers. If Captain Marvel squares up to Thanos and she defeats Thanos, I'm leaving the cinema immediately. I have a fear that they're going to try and do that. Because let me just be real here. No one cares about Captain Marvel. No one. No one does. Who is she? Who is she? Okay, we're here for Cap America. We're here for Iron Man, and we're here for Thor. Who cares about Captain Marvel? So if she defeats Thor, man, I'm like, you know what? I'm leaving the damn cinema, man. Bro. Nah, man. I saw. Like, Let me tell you a home truth about the Lord of the Rings, man. It's not aged very well. Try watching the Lord of the Rings on the small screen. Ain't that great? Lord of the Rings in the cinema, the best cinematic experience of all time. Best cinematic experience of all time. The what's it called? When you watch the Lord of the Rings on the small screen, it's crap. Maybe not crap, but it ain't great. So the Lord of the Rings is an ain't great. No battle scene in the Lord of the Rings touches the Battle of the Bastards. I'm just giving you one. The Battle of the Bastards in Game of Thrones and those things with the giants, nothing in the Lord of the Rings touches that. It is the best fantasy battle scenes that we've ever seen. Obviously, if you want to like battle scenes in a realistic sense, then you have to look at maybe Gladiator or Kingdom of Heaven, man. So that in itself is quality. So yeah, look for Endgame. Like in Endgame, in my view, I think that the right way to do it is Cap America and all these people. They take down Thanos, man. Let those three guys take down Thanos, man, because like Captain Marvel is useless. Who is she? Who is Captain Marvel? I'm sorry, she's a brick. She is a brick because you can't just come and start saying we don't know who you are. We've not seen you for the last 10 years, so you have no say in anything. The only people that should be going up against Thanos is Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man. Those are only three guys I want to see. And how it should end is those three guys pretty much put everything on the line to defeat Thanos. That's what happens. I don't want Captain Marvel anywhere close or involved whatsoever in this. So Armchair Critic, let's see what it says. Thanks for super chat from Armchair Critic. Thanks for hating Khaleesi. And it's sad how Tyrion has gone from being a badass to a semi-entertaining subordinate. Bro, this is what I just saying. I will keep saying about Game of Thrones. The writing, because again, I don't want to give out too many spoilers and everything. Guys, remember, don't give spoilers out for guys who haven't watched or anything. But on Game of Thrones, the writing, like the first 2-3 seasons, fantastic show. Absolutely fantastic, amazing show. That first season, quality. Like the first 2-3 seasons, amazing. But the acting has declined. The writing has declined. And just the loss of several characters meant that the characters remaining are just not as good as the characters from before. And it just and Khaleesi has to rank as one of the most annoying characters. If she sits on that throne, I'm taking out a shotgun and I'm blasting my monitor on my TV set into bits. So that's what I'm saying. So if she, no, just not. Like, it has to rank as one of the most annoying, most boring cardboard characters I've ever seen in my freaking life. So, look, Russo brothers, don't do Captain America dirty, man. Okay, this dude has given us the best superhero movie trilogy of all time. That's a fact. That the Captain America trilogy is the best superhero movie trilogy of all time. Batman Begins is a decent film. Dark Knight is overrated, saved by one person. Dark Knight Rises is garbage. That's it. That's not an opinion, it's a fact. Dark Knight Rises is a garbage crap film. It's a garbage film. I don't care, alright? Captain America, Winter Soldier, Civil War, 3 quality watertight films. 100%, man. See now I haven't watched the second season of Westworld. I haven't watched the second season of Westworld. First season of Westworld, quality. First season of Westworld, yeah, because that was written by Chris Nolan's brother, man. So yeah, man. But no. Westworld, that first season was really good, man. Um, guys, I'm so, Cobra Kai, because see, I watched the first episode. Do you know the funny thing about Cobra Kai is that I knew nothing about it coming in, and as I was watching, I was like, wait a minute, that guy looks like the guy from Karate Kid. I was like, what? And then I saw Ralph Macchio's like, whoa. So I found out as I was watching the episode that, oh my gosh, this is bloody Karate Kid. So that was such a weird thing, man. Um, bro. City, no, look, man, City United, man, that's in weeks, man. So we've got weeks between that. But as I said again, City's toughest game is Palace away, not United away. Their toughest game is Palace away. Um, the Red Wedding episode. Um, I had an inkling something was gonna go down. In that Red Wedding episode, I had an inkling. But I remember when I saw it, I was just I literally I don't think I was actually I didn't even move because I was like, what the? Because things it's happened so quickly with such ferociousness, and it was just so in your face, and it was so relentless that it didn't give you time to process anything. So as it was happening, I was like, wait, what? You're kidding me? Like what? And literally afterwards, I was just in total confusion. But still, man, what happened in season one? People know this. What happened in season one? I still haven't gotten over that. Like one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen. But yeah, but no, definitely Red Wedding. That has to be probably that has to rank as probably the most shocking thing in maybe any TV or yeah, it's one of the most shocking things in any TV or film, 100%, for sure. One of the more, which is why it has. I think that's the Red Wedding is the most downloaded or the most watched TV episode of all time. You know, like crazy. You know, because I just think with Game of Thrones, I just think that they sort of overdid the whole shock valueness, you know, because I just thought after Red Wedding, just thought they should have, okay, look, you've done that. All right, man, let's just have a bit of consistency here, you know. Um, bro, look, Dark Knights, man, you know, I may have to even do like a separate live for that thing, man. But just to put it very briefly, my whole beef with Dark Knights, people need to understand that I am a huge Batman fan. I am a massive Batman fan. Like the Batman film, the first Batman film in 1989, that's one of my favorite films of all time. I have not watched any film more than that Batman film. I've watched that Batman film from the 1989 Batman film. I've also watched that film easily more than over 100 times. I watched it like yesterday. I just watched it again yesterday. So it's one of the films that I've watched so many times. The thing with Dark Knight is that just very briefly because it's complex. It's a Joker movie. Joker is more interesting. He's more fun. He's cooler, and he pretty much takes over the entire film. But it's called the Dark Knight. The worst character in the film, the most boring character in the film, the character that was least interesting in the film was Batman. You know, the voice was ridiculous. The fighting was awful. Um, the script was very pretentious. You know, like there's a thing you learn in screenwriting where show don't tell. All that was happening in those things what else people been told. The speeches, the soliloquies, all this kind of stuff, and I was like, look, man, what the hell is this? So there's something when the film just felt a little bit boring, and I just think that people don't look at the film as a whole. They look at an amazing acting performance, and Ledger gave an amazing acting performance. But an amazing acting performance doesn't make a great film. That's just a great acting performance. You take Ledger out of that film, or if Ledger didn't give such a great acting performance, you have a very drab, dry film. And that's just the key thing. So yeah. Josh Bond. Super shout out from Josh Bond. I'm a complete break when it comes to movies. I slept watching Batman. Which Batman film though? Because I slept watching Dark Knight Rises. You know, that film was flipping boring, man. And for me, Dark Knight for me was nah. It's not really my kettle of fish thingy, man. Let's see what you guys are saying. You know, call me a brick, call me crazy. Someone needs to explain Inception to me. I don't understand it in Inception. Sorry, I don't understand it in Inception. Was the whole thing a dream? You know, was he a dream within a dream? So at the end, was it still a dream? I don't understand Inception. You know, like halfway through, I was like, what the bloody hell is going on here? Like, the thing with Inception is superb soundtrack. And like, what's it called? Dream is Collapsing. That's on my playlist. You know, Dream is Collapsing. That is a amazing track. Easily one of Hans Zimmer's best tracks. See, Alan Silvestri is my favorite composer. Hans Zimmer makes some of the best tracks. So yeah, that's is amazing. Some of the sequences are bloody because some of the sequences with the music, like when you see the water coming into the building and you see the building shake, some of the sequences are really good. But I just think as a film, like I have no idea what the hell is happening in an Inception. Like Interstellar, I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what you say. Interstellar doesn't make sense. If you want to know Christopher Nolan's best film, I'm not sure how many of you watched this. Watch Memento. Watch Memento. Memento is a superb film. Memento is a flipping superb film. Absolutely quality, man. I haven't seen the Lego Batman movie, man. I am going to try and watch that for sure. I want to watch, yeah, because I missed out on it, but yeah, I want to watch it. No, I missed out on that, man. Bro, my dear friend here, this is the Half Hope Football Hot Live channel, and the keyword is Half Hope. I can talk about whatever the bloody hell I want. I've talked football for an hour. It's Friday night. I may throw a few football things in here as well. But bro, we're talking films on TV right now. Enjoy yourself. Armchair Critic, thank you for the super chat, bro. Thoughts on Whiplash? Really good film. Really good film. The thing about Whiplash is this. Even if you're not a drummer, you see, I think only creative people understand what Whiplash is about. Because Whiplash isn't about Whiplash isn't about drumming. Whiplash is about you dedicating your life and obsessing over a particular thing. It could be football, it could be painting, it could be making music, it could be architecture. It's about how hard and how much are you willing to push yourself to perfect your art or whatever you want to do. And that's what it's about. And I think that they're just a particular kind of people that can connect with us of like, my gosh, I know that even for me, at a time, I used to do acting. And acting was my thing. At the time, I used to do writing, and writing was my thing. And now, with doing this whole thing with the Football Hot, with like doing the videos, the editing, putting it Twitter and everything, there is an obsessive nature about it with like what I'm trying to build about it. So I just think that Whiplash, it presented the idea of obsession over a vocation or an art form really, really well. J.K. Simmons, man, because I'm not sure how many of you have watched the TV series, what's it called? Oz, which is about Prince, where J.K. Simmons is in there as well, and he's amazing in there as well. I mean, J.K. Simmons' performance in Whiplash, amazing. Absolutely amazing. Like, he plays like one of the most evil, harshest teachers you've ever seen, but it just works so well. It works so well. So yeah, so I think so, yeah, I really like Whiplash. I mean, very well made, very very well made film, man. You know what? I never got into The Walking Dead. Like I think I'm one of those few guys. I'm not into. I've never really been into zombies, man. I watched the first season of Walking Dead, and I was like, that was cool, really good. Like zombies are not my thing, man. I've never understood I've never really understood the zombie craze. You know, I've never like, it's like I just don't really understand it, man. I need to get back on that Gotham show, man, for sure. I need to get back on that Gotham show. Um, X Men, X Men. The thing about X Men is this: I was a huge, I was also a pretty big fan of the X Men comics. I mostly read Spider Man comics and a bit of the X Men comics. I was a massive fan of the X Men cartoon series. Huge. Like the Spider Man X Men cartoon TV series in the early 90s, huge fan. And that's just where my love for X Men came. So I'm a big X Men fan. There hasn't yet been a truly quintessential X Men film being made. And I feel very strongly about this. The casting of the X Men films, awful. Garbage. You can blame Brand Singer. Cyclops isn't tall enough and isn't imposing enough. Bad casting. Storm isn't tall and graceful enough. Halle Berry is too short. Wolverine is short. I don't. It doesn't matter how great of an actor Hugh Jackman is. Anybody who knows Wolverine, has either read the Wolverine comics or looked at the TV shows, knows that Wolverine's height is critical. Not important. Wolverine's height is critical to the character. So I felt the issue with the X-Men films for me personally is the characters were miscast. So you didn't get the best representations of the character. And I think the issue they had with X-Men is Wolverine became the leader. And that is sacrilege because anybody who knows X-Men knows that Cyclops is the leader. And what makes Wolverine such a great character is he's the outsider. He's the anti-hero. He's everything a leader shouldn't be, which is what makes him so interesting because he's such an outsider. So yeah, there hasn't been a single X-Men film that I've liked. Like well-made films, really, most of them have been really well made, but I've not truly said, nah, man, this has been a truly quality X-Men film. Like it's never happened for me. So, but maybe with this whole merger with Fox and thingy and Disney, like if Marvel can really get the best out of X-Men, I think maybe that could be everything like that, man. So Breaking Bad or Sopranos, which is the better TV series? I'll give it to you like this. I feel Breaking Bad as a whole. I didn't like the final season of Breaking Bad, and I didn't like how Breaking Bad ended. But I just think that as a whole, with regards to writing, acting, and the storytelling, Breaking Bad tells a better, more consistent story across the seasons. But James Gandolfini gives the best acting performance of any character in any TV thing. Because Sopranos for me went up and down. There was some really good seasons and some medium seasons. Tony Soprano, best character in any TV thing. Just his acting and how he created that character, brilliant. Like hands down, his acting in it was just incredible. Just the character that he created was outstanding, completely and utterly outstanding, man. Yeah, no, look, man. As far as that Joker trailer goes, man, quality. And the thing about this is that, and this is my thing about the Joker trailer, is Joker as a character isn't interesting. He's fun, but he's interesting. A Joker movie is bloody stupid. The content of a Joker movie is thick because Joker only works with Batman. But how they're doing it is they're focusing on the human aspect. And I believe that Joaquin Phoenix is the best actor of his generation. There is no actor within his generation or his age group that comes close to Joaquin Phoenix. He is substantially ahead of and was better than every other dude that's out there, So just that trailer, amazing. But what I hope in that trailer is we get that film that they are promising in there, which I'm not sure whether we will. In terms of it has to be rated R. That film can be PG-13. It's going to be rated R. It's going to be adult, and it has to be a standalone. I don't want it to be connected to any Batman universes, this and that. I just want it to be a harder and everything. But I am going into that film based on just being a fan of Joaquin Phoenix, because I'm just a huge fan of just him as an actor. So, and what he was doing in that trailer, I was like, and this looks like some truly, truly interesting next level stuff, man. You see, my whole thing is like, people shouldn't compare the two, because people always like to compare. Oh, who do you think is going to be better? Do you think Ledger's Joker is going to be better or Joaquin Phoenix's Joker? It's just different iterations. It's merely different iterations. Like, even people saying Ledger's Joker was better than Jack Nicholson's Joker, like, I've never gotten that. Jack Nicholson just had a specific take. Now, if you were to tell Jack Nicholson, we want this to be a lot more serious and a lot darker, if you've seen Wolf, Jack Nicholson can give you dark, dramatic, and very scary. If you've seen Wolf, or you've seen what's it called, that horror movie, the name forgets me, like that horror movie that he did, Jack Nicholson can give you that. Ledger just gave you a specific interpretation. I remember for 99% of the film, Ledger was behind that makeup, which really amplified his character. Joaquin Phoenix is now giving you a human side with no makeup and a side with the makeup. So already, you shouldn't even be comparing them, because Joaquin Phoenix is now giving you almost two sides of before the Joker and after the Joker as well. So what I say to people is just enjoy the interpretation, because I'm going into the film, I'm not thinking about Ledger's Joker whatsoever, because Ledger just did what he did. I'm just going in there saying that, no, because for me, like, what Joaquin Phoenix is giving me in this trailer, for me, I find much more interesting than anything I've seen from any of the Jokers. Ledger was superb, he was super amazing, but Phoenix is really giving you some serious, dense, dramatic stuff. And the key thing is because we're now seeing his descent into this crazy battling character, because the Joker himself as a character, he's not interesting, he's just mad. Man, what is interesting is a human being with a family and everything, and how he now has the descent into madness. That's interesting. I think for Phoenix, Joaquin Phoenix doesn't give a damn about superhero movies. So I think the very fact that he took this film was because, there's a human aspect here. There's a dramatic aspect here. There's a dark, haunting aspect here that I can really sink my teeth into as an actor. So what I say to people is, don't compare the two. They're completely different. They stand alone as to one another, and you would be stupid going into this film saying, oh my gosh, is it going to be as good as Ledger? And it was not as good as Ledger's Joker. That is a stupid way of going into it, because trust me, Joaquin Phoenix is not competing with anyone. He's going in there thinking that I know what qualities I can bring, because if you've watched Gladiator or if you've watched The Master, Joaquin Phoenix is a ridiculous actor that hits emotional ranges that very few actors can reach. So Phoenix knows that I know what I can bring. So all I'm doing is I'm just competing within myself. I don't care what anyone else has done. I'm competing within myself. So my advice for people is go in there and just enjoy the movie for what it is, without thinking of how it compares or stacks up to other iterations, which is a foolish thing to do. Thank you, Shining. Thank you. That was it, Shining. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Um, this is a tough one. Godfather or Goodfellas? Again, similar to what I said, you totally different gangster movies. I've never understood people who have said Godfather is better than Goodfellas or Goodfellas is better than Godfather. They're different films. They're different films. Godfather, it's almost similar to like the war films. Like you can't compare Apocalypse Now to Saving Private Ryan. Different war films. Godfather is much more of a more refined, much more artistic, and it's much more of a character study that's focusing on family. And it's basically it takes a it looks at the world of the mob and the mob family in a much more family artistic sense. Goodfellas looks at it in a much realer sense that is much more organic, that gets into the how do they react to one another, how do they go day by day, so where it feels like if you're really part of them. But Coppola looks at it in a much more artistic sense, which is what he did with Apocalypse Now. How can I bring a different, much more poetic spin on a war movie? How can I look at a much more poetic, different creative take on being a Godfather? Hence why, when you look at what Marlon Brando did in the film, that was not how you would expect a Godfather or a mob boss to operate, because it was a different, much more creative take. But Goodfellas is much more about let's us tell the most realistic, most authentic story of how these crime guys operate. So the way the films are made, the way they are interpreted is just totally different. So it makes no sense to compare them, because the take that Goodfellas has is bloody amazing for its take, and the take that Godfather has is bloody amazing for its take. So no point in comparing both of them, man. There's no point, man. Yo, what up, man? What up? What's happening, man? So yeah, but so look, but yeah, I think it's almost time for me to roll in through, man. But yeah, man, this has been swell. This has been swell. We should definitely do more of this. Remember, guys, I told you, man, it's called the Football Hut, but this is a discussion of stuff. So we talk football, but we're also going to talk films. We talk movies, and we talk life as well, man. We talk life as well. Let me see. Think about it. Maybe this is a good way to end this on DiCaprio. Leonardo DiCaprio is a very good actor. He's a very good actor. He's overrated. Because if you watch DiCaprio's films, he's pretty much the same in all of his films. And he pretty much gives you the same kind of emotional beats in all of his films. He is a very good actor. Really good actor. I've maybe had a grudge against him since the days of Titanic, because he bloody annoyed me in Titanic. But he is I think he's overrated because I don't see a lot of range from him in all of the films that he does. It's pretty much the same in all of his films. So even watching The Revenant, I was like, yeah, it's just, it's the same emotions, him being angry, him shouting, all the kind of things. So I think that people just overrated DiCaprio because I think people just like him and they just want to like him. But when you really look at his films fully, compare him to like a Christian Bale or a Joaquin Phoenix. See, Bale and Phoenix, they give you range, or even like a Fassbender. They give you range and they're much more diverse in the characters that they portray. But that's not the case of the DiCaprio, where it's very similar in the characters that he actually plays, man. So, all right, guys, that's all from me. Look, man, AFCON, Copa America this summer, like, I hope for the best and hope that Mane becomes Nigerian personally. Guys, it's been swell. It's been good. I will see you guys on the other side. Enjoy your weekend. Love your weekend. Have a great weekend. Peace out. Stay true. Peace.